Plug.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. For those that are new here, my name is Eric and this is my 2022 BMW M340i xDrive. And in today's video, we're going to be doing some more mods. One thing you guys might notice if you watched the channel before is that we're actually in a new spot. This is actually my new home garage. I moved into this house about a year ago and I've been building out the garage, building out the interior, and I finally feel like it's nice enough to do a video in here. So we're going to be filming here quite a bit, moving on. Let me know what you guys think. We're going to be doing the floors at some point in the future, and that'll be a super exciting video. Did the same lights that we did in the shop, and it looks pretty good in here. First thing we're going to be doing is a JB4 piggyback tune that we're going to install in the engine bay. I'm going to show you guys how to route all the wiring for that, then run the wiring inside to the cabin. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the current mods that are on the car, and then we'll go ahead and get into the JB4 install. So going over the mods that we've done to the car so far, first off, we have this Maxton Designs front lip. We have ceramic window tint front and rear, as well as a gloss black vinyl roof wrap. Moving on to the rear, we have a carbon fiber trunk spoiler, as well as these GTS OLED taillights from V-Land, this gloss black diffuser from YOFER, and these carbon fiber quad exhaust tips that convert from the factory exhaust tips into the quads. We also have H&R sport lowering springs installed on the factory adaptive suspension. We also have mud flaps on the front and rear. And lastly, we have an active AUTOWERKE catted downpipe. First thing we're gonna be starting with is this JB4 right here. So this is the JB4 with the Bluetooth Connect kit. It comes with everything you need to plug into a car with a locked ECU. If you guys don't know, any BMW from 2021 and up, they locked the ECU so that you can't use an off-the-shelf flash tuner. So what you need is a piggyback. So JB4 offers a really good solution for those of us who don't want to void our warranty by unlocking the ECU. This is a good solution for that, to keep your warranty, and you can take it off before you go in for service. All right, guys, so I've let my engine bay cool down for pretty much an entire day. If you're doing this, you want to let your engine bay cool down because you're going to have to reach down on the manifold side to get to the wastegate actuator and unplug that, and it's really hot down there. You can do it with gloves when the car's still hot, but you run the risk of burning yourself, so let your car cool down before you start. First thing we're going to do is just go ahead and pop off the engine cover. It pulls up like that. We're going to set it over here, and then we're also going to be taking off this cover right here. The only other thing we're going to need to take off is this upper shield right here, and that's just going to be to get access into the firewall to run the line to the OBD2 port. We're going to twist that, unlock it, this comes up, and then there's a couple of clips that hold this down. I found that dikes work pretty good to pull these up, and you can pull these clips all the way out, and there's two more right here. So we're going to be doing this so that we can run the wiring underneath here and into the engine bay and keep it all kind of underneath the weather shielding. So now that that's up, take that out. Now it's time to lay out the routing for the JB4. We're just going to be setting this up over here for now. That's pretty much where it's going to go, and we'll finalize that location after we get all the wiring routed. So one thing I like to do to keep this a little bit cleaner is to run it underneath this line right here. So you can pop that up, and then there's just a few things that we're going to be disconnecting. One of them is right here. We're going to be disconnecting this plug, and like I said, the wastegate actuator down there. So I'm going to start with these two. Basically, you just release these little connectors, and then once they're released, you can use that, push it down, and pull this connector off. So we're basically going to be taking the shortest one here, and that is the one that's going to run first. I'm going to go underneath this just to keep it a little bit cleaner. We're going to take the factory plug it into our piggyback. Make sure we lock the clips. We're going to set this down in here to try and keep it from moving too much. We're going to take our other piggyback end, and that's going to go into the sensor. Lock that clip. So we have one more wire that runs up here, another one that runs to the wastegate actuator. I'm going to stick this wastegate actuator under here just so I can run it along the factory wiring harness over to that side. We'll leave that for now. The next one we're going to be doing is this one right here. So again, just release that. You're going to pull this connector off, we're going to be connecting the connector on here. These only go one way. Connect that in, and then we're going to be connecting this one into the factory sensor, and then we're just going to try and tuck this in here, keep it from moving around, just like that. We'll put this back, and then this can just route underneath the engine cover when we put it back on. All right guys, so this one's gonna be a little bit tougher to see, so just bear with me here. Down here, there's gonna be a cover that you can snap off. This cover just covers the plug for the wastegate actuator itself. And then when you reach down in here, there is one of those same type plugs that we released earlier. So we're just gonna go ahead and release the connector and then release the plug. So we have one end of the plug right here. Do the exact same thing, connect this into the piggyback, just like that. And then we're gonna take this other end and connect it into the factory sensor. And just get everything to click in there. So that's where that third one is just right down there. We're gonna take this, wrap it back around and clip it on. All right guys, the next thing we're gonna be doing is running this cable right here through the firewall. So this is gonna come from the inside out to the JB4 from underneath the footwell right in here. It's kind of hard to see, but there is actually a grommet. So right down in here, there is a grommet in the firewall right behind that duct right there. So that hole goes to the footwell and you can run it straight to the OBD2 port. So we're gonna be feeding from inside out, and then we're gonna be pulling it up from there. All right guys, in order to get this wiring up and through, we're gonna need to remove this panel right here. There's a couple of twist tabs that you can turn by hand, and then this panel will drop down. So we're pretty much gonna take this and just try and move it out of the way as much as we can, move it down, and we're gonna be getting up in here, feeding this through that grommet hole that I showed you guys earlier. So I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but looking up here, once you take that grommet out, you can actually see light coming through right there, and we're going to be feeding the wire up through that hole. Now that we've fed that up in here, I'm going to reach my hand down in here. If you got bigger hands, you're probably going to want a set of needle nose pliers, but I'm just able to reach this. We're just going to pull that up through a little bit. Basically what we're going to do with this is we're going to connect this into the JB4 harness right here. So now that we got pretty much everything connected, we can try and find somewhere for the JB4 to live. I've seen a couple people zip tie it down in here or put it different places. I really just like to wedge mine down in here. There's kind of a pocket it'll go into, and it doesn't seem to move a whole lot. We're going to be leaving that wire down that way. And we're just going to try and make sure that the Bluetooth connect kit is pointed towards the driver. So I'm going to be putting this back towards that hole, and then this will all just lay underneath those covers that we took off earlier, and it'll route like that. All right guys, so that pretty much does it for the JB4 install. Let's go ahead and get the covers put back on. All right guys, to wrap up inside, we're just gonna be throwing the other end of that plug into the OBD2 port, and then we're gonna be tucking this panel back up and putting in the thumb screws. All right guys, we got the mods installed on the M340i. It is ready to go. So we're gonna go out and get some shots today of the M340i in the canyons. Let's go ahead and get a cold start, and we're gonna head out.